taking a look at some of the other names still percolating on the market. Got guys like Sami Vatanen, Travis Hamonic, Big Z, the captain in Boston, Zdeno Chara, he's a free agent right now, Andy Green, and Ron Hainsey. So let's go through some of these guys. We'll start with Chara. One, are you surprised at the fact that we're sitting here, he's still on that screen as far as a UFA, and maybe if he doesn't come back to Boston, where's a good fit for Big Z?
I am surprised because I think there's a need with Torrey Krug leaving to bring Chara back in maybe a lesser role into Boston. And so he has value as a leader, as his experience, as well as, some defensive parts of the game. Best fit for him, you say not back to Boston, I think it's just Boston.
Okay.
I think knowing how important he is to that room and that city and that organization, it doesn't make sense to try to reload at this point in his career because I don't know if you put him in a different situation. So many of those intangibles, won't help to the same degree they help with Boston. Boston's a good team. They have structure. And he's been there, as you can tell, forever. And so I think for Chara, it really is Boston makes by far the most sense. And there's a spot there in the top 4 if he wants it to play in that role.
All right, we'll see on Big Z. Meanwhile, Sami Vatanen, what would be a good fit for him as a UFA?
Well, it's tough to find fits because a lot of teams have money and bodies allocated to spots. So for Sami Vatanen, who's he's kind of good at everything, good at puck moving, good in his own end, but maybe not great at anything. I think the New York Rangers. I know they're set on the right side. They have Trouba, they have D'Angelo, but if Vatanen could play on his offside, the Rangers could use some help just stabilizing in their own end. And any partner that can help stop a cycle, stop a rush, and pass it out of your own end, that would help the Rangers. It was a weird year for him, some injuries, long layoff, then into the playoffs and all the rest of it, but
weird year for everybody.
I think he's got more left in his game. He's not too old, so I think the Rangers would do well to maybe add some stability to their back end.
All right, another guy who's not too old, Travis Hamonic. What's a good fit for him?
Well, Travis Hamonic, it's unique because he wants to stay out in Western Canada. There are some family reasons, some personal reasons where he's drawn to that part of the world, where he's from. He wants to be around his family. So, he was in Calgary. He doesn't look like it's going to go down that road anymore. I think Winnipeg would make a lot of sense. They have Dylan DeMello on the right side. They have Pionk on the right side. But Hamonic can go in there as a depth guy or maybe outplace Tucker Poolman on the back end. You get him in there cheap. You get him in a place where he's really comfortable, really wants to make a good positive impact. Maybe can help shelter DeMello at times as well. I think that might be a good fit for a guy who really would like to play in that part of the league, in that city specifically. And Winnipeg doesn't always have players that want to play in Winnipeg. And to get a guy who really wants to be there and thrive there, I think it could be a good fit.
All right, from the young guys to the veteran guys. Andy Green, former captain of the Devils, goes to the Islanders, has a good impact for that team in the playoffs at times. What would be a good fit for him at this stage of his career?
Well, I think for Andy Green, it's going to be probably a decent team with a good structure support around him where he's not going to be asked to do too much. I think they'd be back in the Island. And it might be as a 7th defenseman in and out of the lineup, depending on injuries. I know they want to get Noah Dobson in there. They want to get other guys in there, but Taves has been traded away. It worked out well there. Lou Lamoriello understands him and his game, and it seemed to work out well enough. So I think back to the Island, I shopped him around, and there's fits for him on different teams, but maybe teams that are going younger don't really want to add a veteran guy just because they want to give a young guy more experience. But the Islanders are there to win now. He's good insurance in case something happens to the guys ahead of him.
All right, maybe the same kind of situation here for our next guy, Ron Hainsey, veteran guy.
Yeah,
could be an asset to some team. Which team?
I think Ottawa. I think being back in Ottawa would be good for him. DJ Smith really likes Ron Hainsey and what he brings every day to the rink. Even if his role has to diminish a little bit, I think the fact that he can kill penalties, he can be a leader, he can help insulate what some of the other guys are being asked to do. He can play on the right side. Now, I know they got Brown and Gabranson, but I think he might even be able to help defensively ahead of some of the guys they have there. And so Ottawa still needs to spend some money. They know what they have in this guy. It could be a short-term deal. Maybe Ottawa makes sense.